day one of Pit Pass Live for us here at IndyStar at IMS in 2026. Live here from IMS. I am Zion Brown, and got a couple things coming today. First of all, right away when we woke up this morning, we received some news as far as IndyCar's full course yellow procedures going forward. Everybody saw the Rossi situation. We talked about it, of course, extensively on our site and on YouTube as well. But Alexander Rossi, after he was stalled out in the Sonzio Grand Prix on Saturday, it became a big issue. Rossi was adamant that it was ridiculous between what he said to Fox and IndyCar Radio on Saturday night and between what he said on his podcast episode with James Hinchcliffe, Tim Durham that just released this morning. And around the same time this morning, we did get the news that IndyCar is changing its procedures around full course cautions and saying that they will no longer prioritize pit windows and race orders when deciding whether to do a local caution or a full course caution. I thought it was interesting that IndyCar in a way admitted to what some would call race manipulation in a way of trying to keep those pits open and keep the race order similar to what it was on those cautions. They kind of admitted to their fault there, and the IOB changed that. And I really thought that Louis Foster had some interesting thoughts about it because he kind of compared it to NASCAR with just his stages, and he said, you know, I think more yellows are good anyway.
I mean, like, he wasn't in, let's say, he was on a main straight with a lot of room, so I can kind of see why IndyCar didn't throw it initially. Maybe he thought they stalled, or they thought he stalled and was going to get going again. I don't know. So for me, like, when I saw it, I wasn't, like, shocked by it, but I was like, yeah, we probably should have thrown the yellow. I never passed him because I immediately, when he stopped, we boxed because we knew he was going to go yellow, so I never actually saw where the car really was. But based on everyone's opinions, I mean, yeah, safety's number one priority, right? I mean, you never know. There could be guys racing down there, following someone, and pop out last minute trying to overtake, and then there's a car stop. So, you know, definitely the right call to be a bit more adamant. I mean, we had this issue last year at my crash at St. Louis, right, when Joseph hit me and was in the lead and flipped. Same thing. It took so long to throw the yellow. Like, it doesn't kill the race throwing the yellow. I mean, NASCAR does it for fun, right? So I don't think it's a bad idea to have yellows. It makes the racing more interesting. And actually, that yellow made the race what it was last weekend. Without that yellow, Palou would have just won the race and fucked off, right? Whereas we had a good race between Lucas and Lundgaard, and Graham was on the podium. So for me, if we feel like a yellow could be necessary, just throw it. Like, you know, safety it's better for safety, it's better for the racing. It gives me a break in the car because God knows we need it sometimes with how physical these things are. So yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Interesting to hear Foster's thoughts on that. Moving on from that, as we got to see finally some on-track action in practice here for the Indy 500, the one guy who stood out to me again, Conor Daly, P3 as far as having the best lap time after having a really impressive showing at the 2 days of open testing just a couple of weeks ago here. Daly in that Dreyer and Reinbold car looked to be pretty well up to speed, and I was just curious with Conor Daly. He's someone who so badly wants to be back in a full-time seat after being let go by Dale Coyne last year, but he's back in the seat for this month. And this Dreyer and Reinbold team, of course, is not a full-time IndyCar team for the time being. And so when you put together a part-time driver and a part-time team, a lot can go wrong. I want to ask Daly what it means to just keep stacking these days together.
I mean, I think just all of the time that we get on track helps us just continue to get loose, like get everyone in the swing of things. Like just I hope things get hectic at some point, right? Because it's gonna be a thrash at some point in the day, at some point in these next 2 weeks. So it's just good to get everyone rolling again. And, you know, when we get to do hot stops over the next 2 days, like that's something that we're going to prioritize highly, right? Like get all the pit crew, get everyone out there just hustling and slinging wheel guns around. That's going to be, you know, one of the more important elements for sure.
Then the last driver I wanted to bring up is, of course, Alex Palou. A very weird day for Alex Palou in that 10 car. Not something we see often, where they just had some mechanical issues and they weren't able to really figure everything out. They said there was a issue with the car balance throughout the day. So all day long, he was on and off track. He spent quite some time, and the car did, I should say more specifically. The car spent quite some time in that Chip Ganassi Racing garage as his engineering crew, mechanical crew, tried to figure it out. He was P32 for a large portion of this day, which of course we're not used to seeing from Max Palou, but then he was able to get some more laps out there, and of course he somehow still ended up in P1. So curious to see what changes Ganassi may have to make to that car going forward, or if they feel like they completely figured everything out and they'll be good to go for tomorrow and Thursday in practice. But tomorrow we'll see, if cars and teams want to do more of that race running, or if they try to do some of that solo qualifying more going into tomorrow. But we'll have an update to see what comes of it coming tomorrow here on Pit Pass Live.